Hi, good evening. This is going to be something real quick and simple. It was something that God had dealt with me about, and He dealt with me through a preach word by my prophetess, Sheila D. Harris, and He also dealt with me on levels like on a daily basis of my lifestyle and the things that I were doing and the things that I had indulged in. So, this is just something quick that I learned, and I wanted to share it with everybody else because sometimes we can get caught up in ourselves, and it's a thin line between salvation and being in sin, and we can cross that line without even knowing it, and then all of a sudden it becomes that we become self-righteous and a whole lot of things in there. And I'm not, first of all, I'm not trying to preach because I know my lane, and I know that there's some deliverance that need to take place in me. And I just wanted to share some things with you guys because things has been out of whack with me personally in my walk with God. And I'm trying to get it back right. And I just want to share the things that God shared with me. And I was going to call it, this message was about don't talk about it, be about it. And I was sitting there and I was listening to the Spirit of the Lord. And He was telling me, He was like, all the things that you were doing on Facebook, first of all, the indirect messages that we put out there when we supposed to be so-called men and women of God, and God had brought it to my attention. He was like, you don't do things like that when you're so-called calling yourself a woman of God. People are looking at you. So how you think these folks is going to follow you anywhere if they see you up and down in your posts, they see you getting mad, they see you being indirect to people, and you're supposed to be loving on these folks and not being mad at them and upset with them because of y'all crossed each other's path or something went wrong with each other. You're supposed to pray for people at all times. And and I know sometimes we all fall short. We all do things, but I think when we become seasoned and we know better, I think that we shouldn't do the things that we do. And I was like, I was blown away by it. And then I was looking at some other things like we get caught up in reposting people's stuff that's not even in the Spirit of God. And we be thinking that it's God's Spirit because of what the post is saying, but we're doing it out of ill intentions. And I was just like, wow, I was indulged in this stuff too. I see a post and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to put this out there and let people know. First of all, we don't exalt ourselves. We exalt God. And that's another mistake that we make. When we start exalting ourselves instead of exalting God. And then we're doing it to be getting the attentions of men. We're doing it to get the attentions of women. We're doing it to get the attentions. You're not selling nobody but yourself. You're not promoting no one but yourself. You're not promoting God. And if you think for 1 second that people are not looking at you doing these things, and they know, because a real man and woman of God know your intentions. They know who you are. And then it was another thing that I look, it's like you have to be careful. We really have to be careful and make sure that we're doing things out of a clear conscience, a pure heart, because then we're just walking in a lie, and we're just wanting people to see or even like with me, I seen a lot of times I would do things to get someone else approval, to let someone else see, oh, I'm changing, oh, I could be that woman of God, but you don't do it for them, you do it for God. And then it was also at a point in time where now God is teaching me now that my joy comes from Him, and it doesn't come from man. It doesn't come from me being in a relationship with man. It doesn't come from me trying to build something with a man, because I learned something. People will come and go. You never know their intentions. That's why the Bible tells us to guard our hearts, because if we don't, this is how things begin. This is how nonsense and foolishness begin, when you don't guard your heart, because you start posting crazy stuff, start doing crazy stuff, and start looking like a fool and calling it God when it's not God. Because God don't react to situations like that. He doesn't indirect. He's not sarcastic. That's not the Spirit of God. It's not a woman of God. It's not a man of God that do things like that. God said, know them by the fruit that they bear. And if the fruit is not good, then it's not God. Because God is not a God of unstableness. He's not a God that goes around and trying to hurt people with their words or trying to get a point across. And one thing for sure, he's not going back and forth with you. That's not God. Every time somebody would say something to me, I felt as if I had to come back at them. You're not going to get away with saying stuff to me because I was the queen of comeback. So if you said something to me, you best believe I was going to say something to you. But God showed me, you're out of the will. That's not my spirit. That's not my spirit. And then there was another thing that I also used to do that God has dealt with me with. I would always check the pages. Let me see what they said about me today. Let me see what they said. God said, that's not me. Because as long as you're doing that, you would never find no peace. And he said, you're giving them more glory than you're giving me. You're giving the devil more glory than you're giving me. What are you looking for? What are you trying to prove? You have nothing to prove when you're in God. And once we learn to keep our mind on God, so that he shall keep our mind in perfect peace. And my pastor would tell me that continuously. Keep your mind on God, that he will keep your mind in perfect peace. And once we learn that, the peace of God will come upon us. And I just want to make it short. The thing is this. The bottom line is this. What I was trying to get to. If we're going to be in God, and we're going to put the message out there of God, make sure we're telling the truth. Don't try to put a message out there like you're living so holy, like you're living so righteous, like you're doing everything right. When everybody see your posts and everybody see us up and down and they see that we're being indirect and they see that we're being sarcastic. No, your post should be about deliverance. Your post should be asking God for forgiveness. Your post should be letting people know that it ain't easy and that you're struggling. I mean, you don't gotta let people know your business and everything that you're doing, you know what I mean, that's wrong in God. But at the same time, don't try to make it seem like you have arrived when you have not. That's not God's spirit. Speak the truth. He said, those who come to me must come to me in spirit and truth. God can only deal with a person that know their flaws, that are bringing them to him and telling him, you got to take this thing from me, God, or it's going to kill me. If you try to walk around and pretend or try to make somebody think that it's something else that it ain't, it's not true. It's not God. Everybody can see when we're doing these things on Facebook that it's not God. So we're not fooling anyone but ourselves. And God had to deal with me about that. He, just make sure that you're walking right. Make sure that you're not putting out there something that you're not living. Because we all want to be held accountable for it. And my thing is that if you're not living it, pray for it. Keep praying. Keep asking God to deliver you. Keep asking God to move in your life. And one thing, and women, oh my God. One thing for certain and two things for sure. If a man goes and he leaves, let him go and leave. Because we never know what God has for us. We never know if that was God taking that thing. And even me, I've been in situations like we fight back for the things that's probably not even of God. So we got to be very careful and understand the plan for our lives and for God's lives, and understand discernment. And understand if God has sent that person, he's going to do exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask or think. And if he sent that person for you, then that person will be there for you. They'll go out their way for you. They'll do things that they've never done. And that's how you know when things are real. But it's a bad thing to be bitter. It's a bad thing. And I know it's a bad thing to feel rejection. I've been there. I've been hurt. I've been rejected. I've been walked out on. And I said a lot of things and I did a lot of things. And that's why God dealt with me and said, how you think folks is going to be able to follow you anywhere? If you're putting all this stuff out on Facebook, if you're showing the world that you're so jacked up and messed up, and then at the same time you're trying to preach my word, he said, that's not me. That's not me. And I was like, wow, Lord. And it brought tears to my eyes. And I just want to say, I commend those that are living right in God. I commend y'all to keep putting them posts out there, because there's someone out there that needs it. There's someone out there that's looking at it. I commend you. My hat's off to you. That the consistency, the urge, the desire, the zeal, I am so well pleased with that, because we have a lot of people that's out there that they're false, they're fake, and they're always pointing the finger at somebody else and always saying somebody else did something to them. But when you look, they're doing the exact same thing. So I just wanted, that's all I wanted to say. I didn't want it to be this much. And again, like I said, I wasn't trying to preach. I'm not trying to do nothing, because I know my lane. And I know that God is going to do something in me, but at the time, in due season, you know what I mean? But that's something that he shared with me. I don't want to be living nothing or acting or pretending like I'm something that I'm not. I am in a full mode of waiting room deliverance. And God is doing that thing. And I'm going to keep praying, and I'm going to keep asking, and I'm going to keep doing what I need to do for God to remove that thing, and for God to do everything that he needs to be done in me. But at the same time, I just want to say, don't talk about it. Be about it.